Hey everyone, Mac is back. Today we're going to continue with the Siege of Winterfell Commander series, and today we're going to talk about the skills of Arslan, Egbert, Feis, Robert, and Margaery. So let's get to it. We're going to start off with Arslan, who is a free-to-play. His rage cost is 600, which is a little right in the middle, not too high, not too low. So not too bad. Cooldown 12 seconds, which is the norm. Has the spear health and spear attack, which is very good, especially for free to play. You'll definitely like those. And his skill is increases the spear attack of the commanded troops by 1200% for 8 seconds. We've had these before with other commanders, and this is, in my opinion, this is a very, very good skill to have because you're talking 8 seconds worth of 1200%. And that is a significant part of the battle or area of the battle. So you know a battle will go for 40 seconds, and you're talking 8 seconds of that battle. So a little less than 25%, which is very, very good. So I like Arslan a lot. Plus he's awakened, so if you have him awakened, you can be able to get him to level 10 and have 21,000 troops bring you with you as well. Moving along to Egbert. Egbert has a rage cost of 400, which is the lowest, so that's excellent. His cooldown is actually 8 seconds, which is the lowest as well, which is also excellent. His bonuses are bowman attack of 400%, which is just insane amount of damage there. 400% added percent on those bows is really good. The total defense and then total defense of 120%, which isn't that great, but hey, it's still something. It's better than nothing. If you only had the one attack, you'd still be happy, but adding on a little bit extra of anything, stat-wise, you're good to go. His skill increases the bowman defense of the command troops by 900% for 8 seconds. So if you have a low bow defense, if you don't really have that much at all, this should actually be very good for you, especially for a free-to-play. If you haven't been able to get up your bow defense, to be able to have at least some defense in there, like this 900% for 8 seconds, is very, very good for that. Although of the three, attack, health, and defense is the worst, the least affecting of the battle, I should say. So when it comes to that, I would say that's not that great. The other negative that is for Egbert is that he's only brings 11,000 troops to the battle, which is not that great. You'd rather have him awakened, which I'm hoping that happens kind of soon. I'm hoping that they awaken him. He'll be very good for those bows, so it's kind of a negative for my account since I'm not a bow account. But if you are a bow account, you're probably looking to save up those tokens to be able to upgrade him to 4 stars immediately and get an advantage right off the bat. So Egbert, very, very good, especially for those bows and free to play. Looking at Feast now, another free to play, 600 rage cost, which is again about middling. Cooldown of 12 seconds, which is the norm. His bonuses are infantry attack and infantry defense of 240%. So that's kind of very similar to Arslan, except for his defense instead of health. So not too bad for an infantry commander. And then it increases infantry attack of the commander troop by 1200% for 8 seconds. Exactly the same thing as Arslan. Like I said, we've seen these before. I think these are very, very good bonuses. So if you are free to play and you have, if you have lineups that are specifically for infantry, spear, and cav, then these are some commanders that you're really going to want to put in there, and I'll have those formations for you later on. So we're going to move on there. Oh, and one thing to note, he's not awakened, so you're losing out on troops, which is another negative for Feast. Moving to Robert, the one that everybody loves to hate on, and we always hope that he would have something that's OP or something that's worth using in the game because he's never had it really. Moving his rage cost is middling at 600. His cooldown 12 seconds, which is normal, and his bowman defense, which is 240%, which is the worst that you talked about before. So really don't like that. And then his skill is inflicts a bleed on the target troops, causing them to take damage with a coefficient of 550 every second for 6 seconds. So that's actually not too bad because he's bleeding them out. When you hear that bleed, that's usually a pretty good skill to have. So I do kind of like that in a sense, but the rest of it's really kind of blah, and I'm not a big fan of. He is awakened, so if you do have him to level 10, you will be able to get him to get 21,000 troops for extra in your lineup. Moving on to Margaery, and Margaery here, she has a rage of 650, so it's a little bit creeping up there on the higher end. The cooldown is 12 seconds, which is the norm. Her bonuses are total health and total attack. I only have her at right now at purple. If you have her at gold, those 48% will turn into 120% a piece. So that's not too bad if you put her in a multi-lineup troop. If you don't, then you're kind of she's kind of wasted in that respect with those bonuses. Now her skill recovers the wounded and the commanded troops with a healing coefficient of 1800. So that's really, really good, 1800. At the same time, increases the skill damage dealt by the commanded troops by 80% for 5 seconds. So I'm not sure exactly how that works, and I'll explain why my confusion there for that. Now, if we go over to say Feis for a second, and we look at his 1200% skill that he puts off for 8 seconds, if you're talking Margaery giving 80% extra, is it 80%, or are we doing 80% of the 1200%? Which would be a massive, massive increase. I have a feeling that it's really just going to be 1280%, and if that is the case with Margaery, then I would have to say that her skill is really not that second part of the skill is really not that good. However, with that being said, that 1800 coefficient of healing is actually very, very good. And there's something I wanted to note here is if you kind of look at, I think it was it Sansa? Sansa. See, recovers healing. A coefficient of 100, so that's 100 to 1800. Obviously, complete. Margaery's much better. Then looking at, but also Sansa has at the same time increases healing received by command troop by 1200% for 5 seconds. So a little bit different there, but just for the aspect of Margaery, that bonus or that skill there of 1800 coefficient is very, very good. So if you do have her, you could put her in any single lineup just because she has total attack and total health. Highly recommended, or not highly recommended, but recommended if you're going to do it, maybe do a multi-line troop, maybe do an imp spear or an imp cav or something like that, so you can actually get a little bit more bonus out of her totals. So until next time, Mac out.